The Ethical Journalism Network has developed a new migration and hate speech reporting guide to help journalists counter threats of refugee crisis and hate speech reporting. Over 50 journalists and news editors from East Africa and the Great Lakes region have trained on inclusive coverage of migration and hate speech using the new guide. The 2 days training conducted at Grand Imperial Hotel in Kampala attracted participants from Rwanda, Burundi, Nigeria, South Sudan, Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Ivory Coast and Uganda. Ethical Journalism Network attributes the falling media standards on providing detailed reports on refugee crisis and migration issues to lack of adequate editorial resources for reporters. Tom Lowe, a trainer with Ethical Journalism Network, says journalists often fail to tell the full story and fall into sensationalism traps led by politicians.
Platforms that we now all rely on to reach our audiences, and I think there's a lesson there. That newspaper, they were organised, they had a very clear message, and they managed to actually change Facebook's policy to that photograph, and hopefully it's opened up the eyes to the audience on Facebook about the dangers of relying on that platform and others solely for their news. So a good example there of when we work together what we can achieve.
Rachel Nachitare of Ethical Journalism Network urged journalists to always be ethical and professional for accurate coverage of migration crisis and hate speech.
We have taken up ethical reporting in issues of migration just alongside issues of hate speech.
The journalists shared best practices on dealing with hate speech and intolerance.
How would you contextualize, or what are your comments on hate speech, especially in this region and in the media? What role is media playing to either enhance or to play down situations of hate speech?
Some of these speeches are not the problem of the journalist. The journalist is actually, and some of the hate speeches are like directed from the microphone to the media in live reporting. And again, for them as leaders, they want to hear, because in the evening they are going to, like in the government radio, especially we have South Sudan radio and the TV. They want to see themselves, they are talking what they are saying.
Those who call themselves journalists should be able to distinguish themselves from what the outside world calls citizen journalism or bloggers or whatever. Now, most of the issues concerning hate speech on the internet especially in relation to violence against women online, are posted or perpetrated by people who call themselves citizen journalists or bloggers. Now, these people have no regard whatsoever in relation to the ethics of the profession. If you call yourself a journalist, you should be able to be guided by the ethics of your profession. If you fail or if you fall short beyond this, then I doubt if you are a journalist. If you are a journalist, you are in the business of defending society. You are in the business of establishing or publishing what is in the public interest. And if you know there are criminals out there, like we said, those who are smuggling people, if you know there are criminals out there and we have the facts to expose them, we should be able to expose these perpetrators for the interest of the profession.
Radio Millie Collins aired hate speech messages that fueled violence and conflicts leading to the 1994 Rwanda genocide that left over 800,000 Tutsis and Hutus dead. Clement Wangira compiled this report.